The governor is joining us now live, sitting down with Scene to answer specifics. Scene?
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Governor Ducey. You were just on with our sister station 3 TV. You're kind of making the rounds today. Tell me about your afternoon. You announced this at about 3:05 with the title in your tweet, "It's official, we have a deal." The first question I have, because I want to go line by line here with this tweet, who do you have this deal with? Do you have the deal with the House Speaker, with the Senate President, or do you believe you just simply have the votes?
So this is a big day for Arizona K-12 education and for our teachers. I made a commitment that I wanted to see a pay increase of 20% by 2020. They made it very clear to me that they wanted to see support staff included in this and wanted to see per pupil spending go up. So to make that happen, I have to work through the legislative process. I've been working with Republicans and Democrats, influencers and decision makers inside the legislature while we've been meeting with superintendents, principals, and teachers in the Red for Ed movement. I think we have a real solution here. It's not perfect, but it's definite progress from where we were, and it's something we can commit to for the next 3 years.
So you believe they have to pass the budget as a whole. This is the entire state budget. You believe you've got 16 votes in the Senate, 31 in the House?
We have 16 I hope that we have 30 votes
but you have what you need.
And 60 in the Senate. I think that K-12 education and our teachers isn't a partisan issue. This is something that everyone can embrace, but I did work with legislative leadership to make sure that I have their commitment so that we can deliver these votes. The budget will be introduced on Monday. We'll pass it sometime next week. We'll codify these raises and these additional dollars in law in the budget.
All right, let's have the tweet be shown up full. We're going to go line by line. 20% pay increase for teachers by the year 20. Exactly what you talked about 2 weeks ago. Is this raise guaranteed, or each year will the lawmakers have to approve it?
The raise will be in a 3-year budget. That's the budget that I will sign, and any budget that would come to me with less would be vetoed.
Permanent, ongoing, protected in the base formula. Exactly what does that mean?
That means that it's dollars that, regardless of what happens in state government or the economy, these dollars are committed to our teachers. So there was a concern or something that I heard from teachers or superintendents as they felt in the past that there were games being played. So we wanted to codify these, and this was a part of the negotiation.
Is it a separate account?
These dollars are ongoing and in the base so that they come from the general fund.
Okay.
So it's just the way that they're handled. It's what dollars are available and what dollars are flexible. These dollars for our teachers will be committed.
All right, $100,000 in additional dollars for support staff. That was a big sticking point with the Arizona Education Association. Where did this $100 million? $100 million.
Yes.
Where did the $100 million come from?
The $100 million was in the plan when we had our State of the State. It just wasn't included when I made the announcement on April 12th. So there was a lot of confusion. Teachers said, don't make this just about us. There's a lot of other people that make things happen inside the school, a lot of other educators. Once they understood that this $100 million would be part of the plan and part of the budget that we would sign and not pass, and that we wouldn't say there's a pay increase over here and then this will go away, that it would be combined. They found that they were enthusiastic.
I took a quick sweep of social media. Your critics already kind of firing away at you because it's what you signed up for, right? They're just saying, look, the governor is just kind of switching names. That's the DAA money, which is District Administrative Assistance Funds, very flexible funds for each district to do what they want with that. Have you just renamed that $100 million?
No, that is called additional assistance. That goes to the superintendent, so they know if they need a teacher's aide or a bus driver, a crossing guard, or a counselor. So they have that flexibility. You know, superintendents and teachers don't want the governor to run K-12 education. They want to be able to do it. They're the chief executives along with the principals. We want them to have the flexibility, but flexibility isn't any good if you don't have resources. This will be the first year that additional assistance is put back into the formula, and it's going to start at $100 million with the commitment to be $371 million. You don't have to take it from me. The superintendents endorse this.
The last line in your tweet is probably the one that people are having a hard time believing. No tax increase. How does that happen?
Well, our economy is booming here. There's a reason 200,000 people have moved here since 2015, that we've grown 160,000 private sector jobs. And our budgets have been very frugal over the last 3 years as we healed where we were. Now that we have projections of $243 million additional available this year, that's from the Finance Advisory Committee. And you don't have to take this from me. The Congressional Budget Office, it's nonpartisan, shows $1.5 billion additional over the next 5 years. We knew we had this need for teachers in our K-12 education system. We're making this commitment to them.
And isn't this kind of why we're here with a teacher walkout, is that 2 weeks ago you talked about these projections, you talked about how confident and optimistic you were in Arizona and its economy. But not enough people believed you, even some in your own party. Did that personally hurt your feelings?
No, I think the report came out, the numbers came out on April 11th. We had the press conference. Once we put everything together, said what can we do that is doable, achievable, responsible, and sustainable. So once our legislators were able to see the same figures and budgets that I was seeing, and understanding also that our budgets have been less than 3% over the last 3 years. This next budget goes to 4.1%. It's about half what the budgets were in the late 2000s. It's still very responsible. It's still sustainable, but it addresses teacher pay, and I want to see these increases happen.
And you're not worried about unemployment inching up just ever so slightly?
Well, of course you worry about all kinds of factors when you're in a position like this, but at the same time you make contingencies. We've got dollars in the bank. We have dollars in the rainy day fund. This is something we have to address at the state level. There's a reason people are moving to the state of Arizona. I don't want to pour cold water on our economy while I solve a real situation here. Because we're growing, we're able to address teacher pay and support staff and continue to be a great and welcoming place in which to live.
So our viewers watching this live interview, are they to believe that you were able to convince your fellow Republicans and some Democrats that, hey, I believe in these numbers, I believe in Arizona and the economy? Or was it the sight of 50,000+ teachers walking out of their classrooms and coming to your doorstep saying, this isn't the right plan?
It just wasn't belief in me. It was also the W.P. Carey Seidman Institute. It was the Eller School of Management. It was Moody Analytics. It was the Finance Advisory Committee. It was the CBO. But I do want to say that teachers made their voices heard, and it was very impressive. So I was able to see the same sense of urgency that I had on April 12th when I announced this plan in other legislators, and now we'll introduce the budget on Monday.
The Arizona Education Association has now reacted to your tweet, to your plan, saying this, and I want to read it to you. We have a press release and tweet from the governor. We have no bill. We have no deal. The devil is in the details. We know that we have been down this road before. He makes promises that he can't keep.
That's not
We
true.
just can't trust him. Is this personal between you and Joe Thomas?
They're going to continue to say those things.
Is that why you haven't met with him?
Well, no, I've met with all kinds of teachers in the Red for Ed movement. I'm going to continue to meet with teachers and supers. We're very accessible. Well, that's what I've been doing this entire week, seeing. This is how we've been able to come to this conclusion and bring legislators along. When this budget is signed, these dollars will be codified into law. These raises will happen with our teachers in this next year and over the next 3 years. And I'm excited about it. There's still more to do, but that's what we're going to do from the governor's
Did you
office.
think it turned political, though? I mean, you said, I'm not going to be involved in the political theater.
And I'm not going to be involved in it. I'm going to be focusing on policy and on our teachers and ultimately on the kids in the classrooms.
All right, real quick before we wrap and go to break here on CBS 5, and we thank you for joining us live. For parents out there that are watching, you said this is all part of a budget. Yeah. This isn't just a quick vote and the teacher strike is solved. They have to approve it. The lawmakers have to approve the overall budget. What kind of time frame are we talking about here?
We're going to work all weekend. The budget will be introduced Monday, but it will have these specific details that I just laid out, that we put out on social media, that we put out in our statement. And I think a lot of people, I saw people announcing school openings for Monday. I think people would think if you have a commitment for a 20% pay increase and the strike continues, does that make sense for parents? Does it make sense for kids? There's a lot of teachers that told me that that wouldn't make sense. But we're going to have to make sure that we do it properly. But we'll work all weekend. We'll introduce it Monday, and it will happen very soon thereafter.
And if you meet with Red for Ed movement leaders, will you let us know?
I'm going to,
because I think it's an important point for people to know that all sides are coming together.
I want you to know that I've met with teachers in Red for Ed. We're meeting with superintendents. We do a lot of that as governor. You meet with the people that are the influencers and the decision makers in this system. I also have to work with elected leaders who are the ones that help me codify this into law in the budget so the dollars become real.
All right, Governor Doug Ducey joining us live for his 20 by 2020 plan. We will see if this makes a difference with the teacher walk. We'll keep it here with more details on this development on CBS 5 right now. We're going to toss it to a break. We're coming back right after this.